At the end of the day, capitalism is about capital. And what is capital? Capital is money. Now, we all know that of all places on earth, Africa is the only continent that doesn't have a sovereign unifying currency. There's no African money. We don't have an afro. We don't have an African currency. Now, African states, the different colonized states have that money, but it's not even backed by the African minerals. It's backed by the colonizers' currency, which means that you're not even in charge of that currency. Very few African countries print that money. That money is all sent from abroad. We actually have to buy it. And we have to buy it because because of the lack of economic independence. Because Africa received flag and anthem independence, but it didn't receive economic independence. So the money production has always remained in the hands of the Westerners. Now, a few countries have come out to try to produce their own currency, but it has been blocked. There's a lot of money that is pumped through loans and aid and grants. All these blackmail African leaders, African politicians into not doing the right legislation towards public interest. Because when they send you aid, it's unregulated, and it's a trap for the African who has been very hungry for responsibility, very hungry for capital, because there's no capital, there's no money in Africa. When they see this big money, they see these bullions, they just steal this money. And once you steal the money, now they have you in a trap. They can blackmail you. Because if you don't do what they want you to do, they expose you. And when they expose you, the people turn against you. So you won't win an election, or you will be lynched as a thief, or you will end up in prison. So this way they have you under control. And so they pass you these bills. For example, during this COVID crisis, you can see all the money coming in the name of relief. But this relief is not reaching the people. Many countries in Africa have received money. They're, inflating numbers and then receiving this relief aid. They're trying to push bills to track down people and enter their homes and test them and separate families. And this whole infringement, these are going to be passed into law, and there's a lot of money being being distributed in Africa through aid, relief, whatever. All this money is being stolen by politicians. And this money will be used to blackmail politicians into, serving the capitalist interests. And this is not new in Africa. This is the norm in Africa. That's why Africans hate loans, because those loans don't benefit any Africans. And the little tax that we contribute is used to pay those loans that have only fed the families of the few top African prefects, the wealthy politicians that have been beneficiaries to this aid and loans, that have bought these expensive cars and these nice properties. In fact, that have sent all this money back abroad to offshore accounts and invested in stock exchanges in the European world. I already told you about how this aid is also used by European politicians to steal from their governments, because what's the best way to steal? Start an African foundation, push the British Parliament to send money to that foundation, and strike a deal with the executives at the foundation to send you kickbacks. And these kickbacks are not small kickbacks, up to 60%.